Okay, let's do a little bit of a update. What do we got going on over here? Well, as you can see here, we've been doing a little track work. And what we got is, you can look down the tracks there. A little bit spaghetti bowl-like looking, right? Like I said before, I don't solder except for very special pieces. And where I have soldered would be, see, there's a joint between a crossover. This happens to be a number 6 crossover. And look at that. I didn't even use a tiny piece in between there. I went ahead and made that a straight up crossover. And again, over here, there's another one. That's a solder joint. The other place I like to solder is in a situation like this, where when you get to the end of a turnout, sometimes what you really got to do is solder on another little inch or 2 inches of track just to keep it engaged. And that is one thing I like to do to make sure that the track is more reliable by doing that. Sometimes I like to put on a little 3-4 inch piece and so on. But check this out. That is 2 number 4 switches made into a crossover without the use of an intermediate piece. And check out the rail. Does it look all curvy and stuff? It doesn't, because it's not. You can do that. You gotta do a little cutting of rails. That's what the rail nipper is for. Now let's check another thing out here. Alright, so I've got 2 leads here. Right, as we're looking at the track, it's facing towards us. The red is closest to us, the black is farthest away. And look at this. We got CNW number 4260. Yeah, what do you think of that? CNW U28B. What? Who knew? Who knew, right? Okay. So all I got are these 2 leads on here. The rest of the track is isolated here. And I'm using some shims there right now to set it up, get it operational. But these 2 back bridges here that you don't get to look at, they're just held in place with some, those are actually big nails that are just in there. And they hold this bridge in place here and just pinned in there. And that's how I keep them in there. We can look at the bridges another time. Down here we got old ice. If you need some old ice, I can hook you up. Alright, so now look, as you know, when I clean track, and I purposely made this, there's a mixture, check this out, there's some yellow brass, soldered to some nickel silver, soldered to some more of the copper looking brass, and there's some brass, there's some nickel silver, and there's a high copper brass switch, soldered to a nickel silver, brass, one of these might be high copper. I got all kinds of track mixed in here. This right here, that's snap track, old school brass snap track. It's not like I don't have good stuff around here. I got plenty of good track. It's not necessary back here. I'm going to use track that is reliable. And so I'm going to test it now. Is it reliable? So other than the few joints I showed you, none of it is soldered. And it's been cleaned once, and it will not probably be cleaned again for years to come. No feeders, no feeder wires at all. We are 100% relying on the fact that we have cleaned and prepared track and its joints using an antioxidant, my personal favorite being Oxgard. Okay, alright, so much for that, right? That's the easy one, but can we go any farther? Well, I don't know. This track isn't even spiked down. As you know, I don't glue my track either, because if this doesn't work, well, I can take it up again. I can take it up again and fix the parts that work. I already had some faults in here that I've taken up track right after I put it in and corrected it. This turnout back here was salvaged off a junk pile, and I had done a bunch of soldering to it, and then I forgot to put in, like this one, the gaps in the rails. So right away everything shorted out. Alright, so we got that far. Let's see how far else we can get. See if we can come back. I'm probably going to stick with hand switching. Except for one switch I know that I have to put a turnout or a ground throw on. Uh-oh. When the track is nailed down in its few spots on top of this cork, the turnouts tend to stay. They stay where you put them. Oh, got a little spark in there. My guess is that it's the wheels here. This locomotive really ain't been used since about 1990. And here's my turnout that needs help. Sometime we'll go through turnout construction and I'll show you exactly what I did. I'll give you a hint right there. You can see that. If you've done this before, you know what I did. What I did wrong. But we ain't gonna be too worried about that right now. Wait, can you believe this? Are we all the way over there, about 3 tracks away from 2 alligator clips? Holy cow. And we didn't solder? Track is just laying on top of here? Well, we must have done something right. Oh yeah, right there, that's what we did right. That gap. That's not what we did right. When we tighten that up and we nail down what we did right, you can see kind of close to here where these rail joiners are. We nailed this down. You can see it looks like there's a little bit of grease there. That is actually some antioxidant that is conductive. It just coated all the rails. That means the rails have a conductive coating applied to their tops. And that means the brass will never tarnish, the nickel silver will never oxidize, and it will stay conductive. Essentially forever. Or at least so far, the section I did earliest, it's been over 2 years, and it's still fine. So that's what we've been up to. Then the other thing is I was shaving some narrow strips so I could fix this window. Get that window fixed, shaving some narrow strips. I shaved off a narrow strip right off my fingernail. We will need to construct an armored fingernail, and it's going to last us a couple months so the thing will grow back. We'll do that later.